with closing trades right here on ET now. My colleague Nayantara in conversation with Sameer Nigam, founder and CEO of PhonePe, as well as Rahul Chari, the founder and CTO of the company.
Reality was that given how fast we've been able to grow till date and how exciting the digital payment market is looking like in India and financial services market as well, I don't think there was any valuation at which the existing investors would not have backed us. They know more than anyone on the outside. And I think it's the right answer because we are looking for long-term capital. Obviously, Walmart is a fantastic long-term investor. They're a generational investor. And the others on the board as well. Right now, I've been backing Flipkart for a long time. They've been there since we started. So I think it was easiest to find alignment within the group itself to start out with. And from here, now that we've managed to actually do all the structuring, we've created a separate incentive program for PhonePe employees, we've got the board. From here onwards, when we start looking at more capital should be needed, then I think the PhonePe board on merit along with the Flipkart board in consultation will decide whether we want to get others in or not. Dollar's green, okay. So that works. For us, it works.
Rahul Chari, if I can now come to you. You said that you will now have more freedom to also look at financial services, digital financial services outside of the e-commerce gambit. Now, we have seen PhonePe, of course, experiment with a whole host of new products, especially in the COVID-19 year. Can you give us a sneak peek of what's to come? When you test this freedom, when you have more to do beyond the Flipkart group?
I think the last year, with all the pandemic and chaos that it has caused, has actually been, for us, a very positive one when it comes to expansion of financial services. We've launched a whole bunch of insurance products with our partners, starting with sachet products, COVID-19 insurance itself, and very recently got into vehicle insurance, two-wheeler and four-wheeler. I think what you'd see in the coming year is a much broader flavor of the same thing. We will actually look at a lot more partnerships. We will look at products across the various pillars of insurance, whether it is life and health, whether it is term insurance, whether it is other sachet products. And we will also look at significantly more personalization. So the difference between a commerce play and a play like us is we are a significantly more broader play and not verticalized, and you will see us continue to expand in financial services across various verticals. I think that's definitely one of the areas that I'm very excited about. We all are.
So is that the immediate focus, Sameer? You've obviously got your core business and then really focus on insurance. That's the main focus? Or are you also looking at other avenues and subsectors of financial services?
So I think mutual funds, again, we launched about 8 or 9 categories: equity funds, hybrid funds, balanced funds. So mutual funds and insurance, we did a lot of the sort of infrastructural work in terms of launching all the categories, getting the licenses in the last 24 months. I think in 2021, we will start really opening up our marketing efforts or educational category creation efforts in the wealth category. And that includes gold, by the way, which is again growing very fast. Gold, mutual funds, insurance. We are sitting out on lending right now. Still don't believe that we are ready for it. But we will start working on some scoring solutions. I think that's one very big area of investment for us over the next 3 to 4 years. And I think it's something that we are sure there's a lot of value creation in. The other one that's exploratory is sort of shaping the entire consumer merchant ecosystem with the kiranas, a lot of hyperlocal commerce stacks to be developed, store discovery, category discovery, CRM solutions, growth solutions for small merchants. And there again, I think with COVID or post-COVID, there's been so much turmoil in the MSME segment that I think that's the need of the hour. So we are going very, very deep into the rural sector on acquiring on the payment side. And on the back of that network, we're going to start trying to actually build solutions using the PhonePe for Business app and stores and switch sections on the consumer side.
Now, there's obviously been a massive surge in transactions for all kind of companies like yourselves. It started with demonetization, GST, and of course in the coronavirus year. We've also seen a stress on the infrastructure side, the network side, and today look at what has happened with an HDFC, for example. The kind of traffic you're seeing. Rahul Chari, you're also the CTO. Is the Indian banking infrastructure in place for the kind of surge that we've seen in volumes?
Look, I think we should be definitely conscious of the fact that the rate at which digitization of payments has happened in the country is unprecedented for the size of the population and the number of people who have come on board. And yes, like you mentioned, I think there have been multiple catalysts towards this. COVID has been the most recent catalyst. It has been at an immense pace. Therefore, the amount of investment, the entire ecosystem, not just the banks, right? It has to be, whether it's NPCI, whether it's players like us and the banks have had to make a massive amount of investment. So yes, there are areas where different players are playing catch up. And there's definitely a need to invest more, not just in scale. There's a need to invest in scale. There's a need to actually invest in customer support, areas like risk and fraud detection. A lot of this investment needs to happen. I believe it will happen. It is a matter of time. Some of these events that you're seeing are a coming of age of a sector that is rapidly growing. It's much faster than any of us ever anticipated. Sameer?
No, I think spot on. It's like the telecom industry in the 2G, 3G era, where when the market started opening up, everyone was talking about network quality, the need for more towers, the need for better and more spectrum. I think something similar is happening in payments, right? UPI wasn't on the map until about 4.5 years ago. Then you had Demon, which was one systemic shock. Then you had COVID, which is another systemic shock. And for this particular industry, at scale, it has doubled in the last 6 months. So whether one wanted to or not, the growth is so exponential that you don't have much reaction time, right? None of the players in the ecosystem have reaction time. You're just going to have to try and stay ahead of the curve. Even today, the two of us are unable to give a good, predictable answer to our co-founder who manages our infra about what our peak will look like a year from now. We're 5 years into this business. Just the market continues to sort of grow faster than any of us expected.
And obviously, the current situation with COVID has also meant that supply chains across the world have been impacted. So even procurement of hardware, servers, and equipment to be able to actually beef up the infrastructure within our data centers, the data centers at the banks, having people visit the data centers while all of us are classified as essential services has been difficult. So as an industry, I still want to look at the bright side of how we have, all of us have actually stood up in these tough times to be able to actually make the demand and supply match happen to the best possible. And yes, we all have to make further investments and we have to make it at a very rapid pace.
But, just taking off from that, because it's the hot topic of the day as well, and, as a leading fintech player, Rahul, how real is the fear that if it can happen to an HDFC, the kind of warning that has come in from a Reserve Bank of India, which really just wants more preparedness for the digital ecosystem, that the traditional banks will be cautious about working with fintech players, will be more cautious about working with neobanks, or there is no such fear?
I don't believe there is any such fear. I think the fintech industry and the banking industry are an example today of some of the best possible partnerships, right? I think we are all in it to actually grow the market when it comes to payments, financial services, and financial inclusion. So I believe that this is actually one of the best examples of great partnership. I don't believe that this event really is a threat in any form to that partnership.
I think in any industry, when you have signs of stress because of scale, I think that's a great time for any industry. I mean, as unfortunate as the recent incidents of outages, etc., are, we need to recognize that this actually means that consumers at scale are adopting digital payments, and that's not a bad thing. That's a fantastic thing for a market like ours. I think the only other concern I would have, and this is unrelated, but at some point will play out, is the financial health of the payments ecosystem, and we've talked about this with zero MDR, there's the notion of continuous investment in a billion-person market when there's no known revenue stream. That is a concern. I think we do worry as fintechs that banks may not find it viable to continue to invest deeply and stay ahead of the curve in a system that is not generating revenues.